Hey traders, Parker here with the end of the week market update, and you can see the labels has completely changed from last week. You can see everything is practically green except for the healthcare, energy, biopharmaceutical stocks, pharmaceuticals, and the yield is down, which means the bonds are going up, which is good for small caps and the overall market as well. You can see gold is blue just because it's up on the week and it's up on the quarter, but it's down on the month. Excuse me. Bitcoin is green, transportation is red, and we still have offense still beating defense. And we looking at oil prices. I mean oil as well. Oil is red. So I'm gonna pull over my video I did from last week, and let's do a small comparison to it. So this was the video I did last week, and we can look at the labels and do a slight comparison. And you can see the S&P futures and were green. You can see the difference in between the week and the month and the year. I mean, we're really the quarterly, and that's what I'm looking at. And you see the VIX was red; it should have been green, but for the most part, pharmaceuticals are still red. You can see the difference in materials, the bonds, everything. Well, I really want to pay attention to the bonds and the yield. Excuse me. You can see the yield was dark green, where it was just headed down. And you see the bond was yellow, as they were headed up. They were down on the quarter and they were down on a week, but they're up on a month. And anything that's yellow is just giving you a heads up. Hey, there could be a change. And we can look over. There's a change coming, possibly to the upside. And we can look up here on the last week's chart, last week's video, and the chart. You can see the S&P 500 had just breached above its gap area, headed into this past area of resistance. So I'm going to remove this out of the way, and we can look at it now. And you can see right here, it actually headed into this area of resistance, and you can see where the SPY pulled back. Excuse me. And our leader this week is still technology. Technology is up on the quarter 11%. I don't think anything else is up higher than that on these labels, unless you want to look at the NASDAQ, and it's up. It's only up this quarter over quarter 6%, but technology is still our leader. So if you're looking for strength, I would say look for pullbacks in the technology sector. Technology stocks. Look for pullbacks to get in, and look for anything that is bond dependent, because of the bonds, the Federal Reserve going to start cutting rates, which they're saying they're not going to do until I think the summer of 24, but they may go ahead and do it. But that's what a lot of traders and a lot of investors are looking forward to. And they're also looking forward to a possible higher high before the year's out. So we look over the courses, and this is the all-time high for the S&P 500. I can't really make that out. Let me just zoom into it. So this is the all-time high for $479.98 is the all-time high for the S&P 500. And you can see that resistance level is still out there. That it's already precast, and just like here. So I'm going to take off the labels because it's just going to slow everything down, because it uses a lot of data. And we're going to go over to the NASDAQ, and we're going to view the NASDAQ as well. And we can see as well, NASDAQ hit this area of resistance as well, pulled back really to the 10% of the range that I'm using, this past high right here and this low right here. It breached above last week this area of resistance, and now it's testing these areas of resistance as well. So we got a slight pullback. So it's really, to me, it's an opportunity to find more stocks to buy, or possible technology stocks to get into, or NASDAQ, or stocks within the NASDAQ to get into. So you can see right here it broke through this channel and it's testing these highs now, and hopefully next week it breaks out and go ahead and. So if you watched my last week's video, I showed you on a scanner and a couple of different stocks. So some of those stocks actually pushed up last week. So give me a moment, let me pull up the video one more time and let's look at some of those stocks that I looked at last week. I know right off the bat, one of those stocks was Planetary, PLTR. And I was thinking they was going to push towards 20 Monday. So this is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it kind of pushed towards 20, but it didn't exactly make it. It made it Tuesday. Is that right? Today is Friday, Saturday. No, Friday, Thursday. So it pushed towards, but it couldn't exactly make it. So, but this day right here, Wednesday, it actually pushed into 20. Couldn't hold it. Pulled back to the this 121.4% fib right here, and pushed back above and broke above 20, and it actually is holding above 20. So let's go look at that for a moment. Here we are looking at Palantir, and you can see right off the bat, it traded within this channel from this high to this low. It just traded within this channel. Couldn't really break above this 38.2 fib right here. And it finally broke above this 50 point right here. Yeah, I had this Fibonacci level right here, but for the most part, that was for this high and this low. And I was looking for a bounce, and it actually bounced out this 21.4 fib. I was long here, but I sold at 19 something, and I wish I hadn't of. It was doing the Fed speak, and I actually said that on my last video. But you can see right here, Palantir is breaking above and it's pushing above $20 now. And I was reading some report about Palantir being being an opportunity of a lifetime. So me personally, I'm hoping Palantir could be like AMD. When I first found AMD, it was below $20, and you can see back here, it was somewhere around in 2018 when I became aware of 2017 or 2018. I want to say 2017. When I came aware of AMD, and it's just shot up ever since. AMD is one of those stocks that are within the NASDAQ, I believe. But if nothing else, it's a technology stock. And we can look down here as well. We can see how everything played out. The Russell's up. This is just my fields for my risk on, risk off indicator. And if you haven't watched my video on it, it's basically based off buy and sell percentages within the high and low, wherever the close is within the range of the high and low. And AMD has made a strong push comeback as well. And same thing with NVIDIA. And you can see right here, it found the support area right here, and it pushed above from there. It came back to this area of resistance, these two areas of resistance, but it was able to push above on strong volume. Excuse me. And it's been pushing up ever since, but it did pull back Wednesday, pushed back above Thursday, and pushed back above Friday today as well. But it still found some resistance here as well. And you can see after hours, let me just zoom into it. You can see after hours, it kind of came right back down, but it's holding above 120. Yeah, it's holding above 120. So let's see. Here's the list of the stocks that I was looking at last week when I ran the scan. And you can see that Palantir is up from there, and it actually hit the mark that I said it probably hit was 20. And we can go check the other stocks as well. So Mara is one of them. Let me minimize that. And we can go to Mara. M-A-R-A. Mara is still battling this area of resistance, so Mara probably won't be a good candidate until it breaks back above 1055 or holds above 1055, which is actually the midpoint of the this range as well on our Fibonacci levels right here. You can see it's just been clustering up in a strong area of resistance. So MAR1, B1, one of the ones I was impressed with, AAOI, I think it was. This is the one that I was impressed with because when I looked at it on my video, when I looked at it on the video earlier, I looked at it as being just a trash stock. But you can see AAOI was actually down when the NASDAQ was up. It was down 4%. And because it didn't have a lot of volume, I didn't look at it. But when this week came up, I had to pay attention to it because I set those alerts for it. And it actually broke above 10. It came back here. This is last week, right? So it came back above, and it actually broke above this week because the Monday was the 13th. So it had a strong push above, and it's actually breaching into the $13 area. Did it break into $13? Yeah. The highest candle right here is $13. So that one actually broke above, and it's actually this top of this green cloud right here is 68.618 fib right there. So if it can hold in this area, it could possibly retest 14. I think those are old resistance levels. Yeah, it's coming from there. So it could possibly retest 14 and possibly go ahead and break out above. So let's look at one of the other ones. Let me pull it back up and we can see one of the other ones. Intel finally went up to 40. I think Intel closed this at 42. Actually 43. So Intel closed this week at $43. So let me get rid of some of those drawings that I had when Intel was up. So let's get rid of the old price levels. And let's get rid of the rectangle box because it breached down below that. So this is my fib level for Intel, and I had thought about getting into it. I wish I had of at this point, especially being in this at $32. $32. It would have been really lovely. You made $10 off of that. And right now we're pushing probably into this area of $45 would be the next area of resistance right there, based off of my supply and demand or support and resistance indicator. So you'll be looking at about $48, and you can see right here it actually hasn't made it up to this one yet either. So 45 and then 48 would be those two resistance levels. So hopefully next week is good and it could possibly push up into those areas, those levels. And let's look at another one. We can go look at it on the smaller screen as well, just to see how everything played out. And you can see when the day opened, it actually stayed within this range and it broke above that 50 point and actually just started just pushing above. And here is just the NASDAQ, and this is what it did, but it kind of collapsed at the end of the day. So let's go back into our list of stocks. So Intel Ride is going to look like more. I can pull it up, but it's generally they're Bitcoin miners. I think Bitcoin was light green, so it's probably down on the week. So this was a play, and it's doing the same thing that you saw on MAR. So it's having trouble with this area of resistance right here. So we're going to go to one. Let's go Clean Spark. CLSK was another nice one. CLSK. So this was what I would consider a laggard stock right here. It didn't move up with the rest of the market, so I would keep this on my radar for it to move up. Move up here late, shortly, Clean Spark, when it goes, it actually just goes, as you can see right here. Right now it's at this 78.6 field, which I was gauging for it to continue down, but actually it's trying to push back above. Let me get rid of my drawings because they may not be valid anymore. This is the only valid one. So we'll just get rid of the drawing. So we're going to clear out the price levels and we can have a clear view. So looking for Clean Spark to get back above this field right here, this 78.6 field, and possibly go higher. It's a tech stock, but I think it's a clean energy stock, so it may depend on Clean Spark says, so it's a mining stock too. I thought it was an energy stock. My bad. But let's see. Paths. I know BTBT is one. NVTS. I forgot to check on that one. NVTS. It actually had a good week, but it didn't push as hard as the other stocks I showed you earlier. But it did exactly what I thought it would do. So it's a semiconductor stock. And I think I said something about this one last week, that possibly because it's a semiconductor stock, so it should move with stocks, the semiconductor ETF. It didn't push as hard as this one, so I'm not sure. It could just be a laggard, and just keep it on your radar. So let's go into the scan, and we're going to use the relative scan like we did last week. We're going to search scan in the NASDAQ, and we're going to look for information technology stocks or just technology stocks, period. So, and I'm going to select all. So I'm just going to select that. Those are not, these are just stocks that are, these are just stocks right here that between $1 and $50 and between had a 3 million volume. So I didn't put my relative in there, relative strength scanner in there, but I just wanted to look at any of these stocks right here that are actually within these parameters, these two sectors, the scan within the index and the sector. And we can see I played that one before. I think either one I played it over here. And I looked at it as a whack off. I can't remember the guy's name. Pattern. So, but it's moved up. Well, I made money off of it, but I didn't stay in it that long. So it's moving up, but it needs to get out of this gap area right here. So it should move with the rest of the technology stocks. So I'm going to mark this right here. And normally I'll duplicate. When place stocks like below this amount, $1. It's above $1, so it's heading to $2. So it's heading to this gap area right here. So what I'm gonna do is just set an alert for when it breaches $2. I'll come back and look at it and consider getting into it. But right now, it's in this. It's below the gap area right here. It's a technology stock. Penny stocks, insiders. So insiders are buying this stock. So that's another good sign. And let me look at one more thing. This is something that I'm working on, and I really need to go and just get that off the screen. And let's see. Nothing came up. Oh, here we go. It's down, but it's coming up, and it's coming up with bullish proportions. So that's what it looks like over a 21-day period. Let's look at over the 10-day period. And this is just my unbalanced volume indicator. So over a 10-day period, it looks kind of good. You got increase in volume. And it's over its momentum line. So I really shouldn't be doing that one. Should be using this one instead. So over the 21-day period is below. But you can see where it's rising. The unbalanced volume is rising from this lower part of this channel. And hopefully it crosses back above this midpoint right here. And we're going to switch this to, I'm going to just double it up. I do the 20-day and a 10-day. And I'll move my 20 below that one, and let's look at it. So on the 10-day, it's actually crossing above. It's 10-day channel, and it's pushing above, and you can see the bullish proportion from there. You can actually see it has a squeeze as well over the 10-day period. So that's one of the ones I'm going to keep on my radar. We can go back to the scanner. It was up 12%. It gets over 2 million in volume on a daily aspect. VNet, I'm not sure with this one. VNET. I looked at it a long time ago. So let's get that one off and let's see where we are. I guess it didn't really do too good on earnings. It had this huge drop and it pushed back above. So it had to drop so it could push back above, possibly to the $3. I really don't like this huge drop right here. So this happened on the 16th. So we can go to the 16th. Comment Chinese. So is this a Chinese group? Bayonets. Largest percent decrease since following. Where's the beginning of this on the 16th? Strategy investment from Shindong High Speed Holdings link. So this is basically Chinese investment. I keep it on the watch. If you want to look at it. So I don't know. It hasn't really moved here within this last quarter either. So I'm not interested in that one. EBEX, EBIX, EBIX. Huge drop off. I looked at this one a long time ago as well. So it's a $5 stock. It was $17. If you look at this range between this 63-day range right here, that's what this cloud represents, 63 days, high and low. And it's basically just died. It came down to $3. Now it's trying to bust back above that one. What day did it have this earnings on? The 14th. What did they say about it? I don't know. You could look at this one being like another laggard. It was a you could say it was $17 back here in in September. it was $17 and it's completely sold off. Let me auto zoom and get that back. But at its highest, it was $65. So I don't know. I keep this one on watch. I like it better than a V-net. So we can say basically the same field, but it's this auto one that's mapped it out. So let me see if I can get this to zoom in better than that. So we have a clear resistance here at $7. And right now it's stuck at this old resistance area right here, the low part of this candle. So I'm going to say, I look at it at, I set alert for $5.50. It doesn't look like one of the most healthiest stocks, but if you're looking for things that are oversold and possibly go higher, this would be one of the ones as well. Fastly, is it FSLY? I want to say that's one of the EV cars. I looked at this one a while back. So I'm just going to take everything off of it and let's see where we are. Came down to this area of support, broke down below, created a new area of support right here. And right now it's currently trading within this area of resistance below the 28 point, let's see. Below this 21.4 field right here, and it's trading below this 38.2 field right here. So possibly, if it can hold $17 and people get excited about the EV stocks again, it could probably go up. So I would keep this on the radar, especially if we can get back above $18. I say $18. But it looks like it had a great day today. So this is a 21-day unbalanced volume, and here's our 10-day. So we can go over to, this is the 1 minute, and here's our 5 minute. Had a great day today. It went from $16.40 up to $17.97. So it could possibly keep going depending on the market. And over our 10-day has a tight squeeze right here. So this is one of the ones I'm going to be on the lookout for. SOUN. I looked at this one a while back. I want to say when it moves, it moves. But if some reason I don't like this stock. So one thing is it's above this area of resistance, but I don't know. You have to wait for at least, I say, it get back above this gap area. I'm not gonna mess with that one. Wolf Speed. I heard somebody talk about this one. It's $36. It's basically oversold and due for a bounce, because you can see right here. But it's real gappy though. So it's basically oversold, and it's probably gonna bounce with the rest of the market. The unbalanced volume is showing you it's looking good, especially over the 10-day. And it pushed up today on increase in volume. So most likely you probably, it may pull back to the same area to Monday. But I say look for a break above this this 50% right here, this will be your 50% retracement for the fib levels right here. And I go ahead and put a fib on here, Fibonacci level on here, just because. And you can see the picture of it. So breaking back above this 50 area, but you're still gonna have some resistance at the 61.8 fib right here. You can see that right there. So this is something that we're looking at as well. I'm gonna, where is it right? It's at 35 right now. And what did it do today? It did all right today. It went from 35, 32. After hours, it kind of just plummeted down. So it looks good above 38, but I don't know. I think this one can go. I set an alert for 38. And I'll keep it on the watch. And we will go back to the scanner. INDI. I think I looked at this one too. And it actually had a good week last week as well. So it's making a new high with 63 days. So this one probably is going to bust above and probably retest $9 or $10. So this one is a nice one. So if you haven't looked at this one, this is a nice one. I'm going to say, let's go back to this 5 minutes. So it kind of dropped. So I'm gonna put an alert for 750. So we're gonna put something in for 750. Breaks above that. And we'll go back to the scanner. IONQ is one of the ones that when it runs, it runs. IONQ. What did it do? So I looked at this one. It's kind of, excuse me, it's kind of just sitting right here. It really can't break above 13 or hold above 13. So what I'm going to do is just put an alert for when it touches 13 again to watch it. And when it does break above 13 or able to hold above 13, possibly look for a retracement. Possibly look for a retracement back to 13 for it to continue to push up. Path was one of the ones I looked at last week. That came up on the scanner. What did it do this week? Same thing. I don't like Path, but it's a high price stock. It could push above, but it needs to hold above 1850, I would say. And we can go back into here. And I don't like any of those, but let's look at something with the ones that had the most volume was Palantir, Intel, Cisco, Cleansford. But that's pretty much the end of this video. I appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to what I had to say. And one other thing I wanted to show you was this one, Palantir. It's an indicator on here that I didn't realize it was on here. I'm going to get rid of my 10-day and just put the correlation indicator right here. And I'm going to change this to the NASDAQ. And this is the correlation indicator. And basically, if anything is above zero, it kind of sort of moves with the stock. And right now I have it set for the NQ. I have it 10 on an average of 10. So for the most part, over the last 10 days, it's pretty much moved steady with the NASDAQ. And you can actually use it to scan as well. So I'm going to run a scan. Where's the Add filter. So we're going to go to study, and we're going to look for the ones within this list that basically moves with the NASDAQ. And greater than value point. I'll explain to you why I'm using 0.5 in a moment, but within one bar. So that cut down our list. So the reason why I'm using 0.5, when we go to let's see, more details. I'm just gonna get rid of that, and it should come up in a moment. The correlation study. And you can read right here how it works. So anything with a negative correlation, basically saying that it doesn't correlate or doesn't move with that index or whatever stocks you're comparing it to. But anything with a correlation 1 means they move in step. So you're really never really going to have a 1. The highest I've seen this thing is like 98 or 95. But generally, if you're looking at anything that's over 0, it pretty much moves with that stock. And if you want to make your chances even better, put it up to positive 50%, 0.50. And they generally move 50% of the time or for the most part over the average period, moves with that stock you're comparing it to. And I'm comparing this one to the NASDAQ. And Palantir, basically, you can see, let me just do a clear point of view of this indicator, because I did made it look pretty, I say that. And I'm going to look over, I'll leave it at that. And you see this line right here corresponds with the positive 0.5. And this line right here corresponds with the negative 0.5. And you can see this is our 0 line. So Palantir basically moves with the NASDAQ. And this is not a directional indicator. It's just telling you that, hey, this indicator, the stock moves in correlation with the actual other stock, whatever you're comparing it to. So we can see right here, even though this is bright green, it's telling you, hey, the NASDAQ is going down, so this is going down as well. So they're moving together. And if the NASDAQ is going up and this is bright green, it's telling you, hey, this stock moves with the NASDAQ. They have a high correlation. And you can look back, there's been very little divergence between their correlations. So these two stocks, the NASDAQ, this stock is highly correlated with the NASDAQ. And you can see right here, that's why these came up right here. And these stocks are some of the stocks that we want to filter out are highly correlated with the NASDAQ. So I'll leave you guys with that. I wish you the best. God bless. And thank you guys for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. As always, stay safe and God bless you guys.